So we're now going to look at how is Bitcoin priced. And in any centralized service, it's usually the central authority who dictates the price. So for example, if PayPal is the central authority, their price is always 2.9% plus 30 cents. So if a merchant accepts credit card payment through PayPal, they're going to lose 2.9% plus 30 cents to PayPal. But what is it in Bitcoin? Well, it's community-run effort, so who decides the price? Well, the price is voluntary. It's if I'm sending somebody Bitcoin, I decide what I want to pay. And the motivation for me paying a price is actually to ensure that my transaction gets included into the next block. So I'm actually paying the Bitcoin miner, the person who discovers the block. I'm paying them to incentivize them to include my transaction in the next block. So let's actually look here on the screen, and I'm showing you here, this was the last block that came up, last block of transactions. So block number 329745. And at the very beginning of any block, the very first transaction is new Bitcoin generated. So, right now it's 25 Bitcoin is given as a reward to the Bitcoin miner who discovered that block. But you can see here, this Bitcoin miner actually got 25.31 Bitcoin. So what's this 0.31 Bitcoin? Well, those are actually the miner fees. Those are the fees. Let's see here. They took in 977 transactions. That's actually a pretty large block. And from all those 977 transactions, each one of those transactions probably gave a little bit of a miner fee. And all those miner fees added up to about 0.31 Bitcoin. And so you can see there on the blockchain itself, that's how the pricing works. Those are the miner fees. And it's all voluntary. Now there's another concept called off-the-chain transactions. And off-the-chain transactions means these are transactions taking place between two parties, but it's not actually on the blockchain. And a service like Coinbase, they actually provide this service. And the value of doing an off-the-chain transaction, there are no fees. So the only time this can happen is when you're doing a Coinbase to Coinbase transaction. And in that case, you actually never leave Coinbase. All the transactions are with Coinbase's service. This kind of concept is not new. If you do a transaction through PayPal, if you ever notice, they'll actually make it free if you do a PayPal to PayPal transaction, and it's not for a good or service. And it's the exact same concept. And that's how they're able to reduce or get rid of any possible fees. But keep in mind, it has to be a Coinbase to Coinbase transaction. Let's look at decimal places. How many decimal places does Bitcoin actually go to? Well, it actually goes to 8 decimal places, whereas our regular dollar system goes to 2 decimal places. So instead of it being $1.25, you could have 1 Bitcoin 0.25832628. And it can go down to that many decimal places. And then you may have heard of a thing called a Satoshi. So just like we have with regular currency, a penny, a cent. Well, in Bitcoin world, named after the founder, we have a Satoshi, which is, it's 1 Satoshi, so all the way down to 8 decimal places. So that's the section on pricing. Next, we're going to look at how you would get some Bitcoin and why you would actually want to get some Bitcoin.